get thrilled, you just get happy, and you feel a little privileged.
Bythjul.com. Däck och fälgar online direkt hem till din dörr eller närmaste verkstad.
So we buy it into yet another Mercedes. And it's the new E-Class. This one is the E400E, so it's the plug-in hybrid, the most powerful plug-in hybrid at the moment. There is a E300E as well, a little less power in that one, and then on its way in, well, it's the E53 plug-in hybrid that will have well over 500 horsepower. But the power is just enough in this one. You have a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, which might, in a class like this, which is a business class limousine, sedan type of car, and especially when it comes to Mercedes, well, it feels like down-toned, down-tuned, downsizing. But downsizing, as we've been talking about before, that is not bad. The car becomes lighter, it becomes a bit more agile, and it becomes a lot more efficient. But people who knows these kind of luxury cars since before knows that they always have big engines if they want to be in that luxury segment, like a V6 or a V8 or maybe a V12. But now we have a 4-cylinder engine. Together with the battery pack of 25.4 kilowatt hours, it produces 381 horsepower. So this is not a slow car, but the thing about this is not that it's supposed to go quick, even though it goes really quick and it handles very well in its big, once again, majestic way, because you can call it majestic. I think this one looks just brilliant. But let's talk about the design in a moment. Claimed range on pure electric is 106 kilometers, measured in VLTP, so that is rather good. Plug-in hybrids, they become so much better now, have such good range. It's not just the range that is fairly impressive on this one. What you can get as an option, which I think is rather impressive, is a 50 kilowatt onboard charger. Well, it says 55 kilowatts when we were trying it out. We went all the way up to 56 kilowatts when we plugged it in and charged it. So that goes fairly quick, 10 to 80%. Well, you will charge that up in approximately 20 minutes. So that is really good, and you can do some longer stretches. So on the long journeys, it shrinks that little gap between having a fully electric car but still have the freedom of knowing that you have a fossil-driven engine at the same time. So you can just go for longer and not needing to plan your route that much as you do with a fully electric car. And when you can top it up that quickly, well, that just becomes even better. So I like that one. So let's try this out. 50 kilowatt. That's what you can quick charge this car with. Take our card. And the charging starts. So let's see what we can reach, what type of speeds we can reach. Let's jump in. Okay, so just plug that in. Quick and easy. That is really, really good. I mean, this goes quick. Now you can just pop in for a little snack or eat something, 20 minutes, and you have 80%. Now we had at least 40% in the battery, so that will go even quicker. And I mean, look now, the speed has just bumped up even more, 56 kilowatts. This makes it effective on the longer trips. The standard 3.7, that is just forget about that when you want to stop and fill up your battery. 6.6 in some cars, 11 kilowatts in some cars, but 50. Now, that's a little different business, actually. That's good speed. What we also got is the air suspension, and this one, it is so smooth to drive, and it also turns very well because it's got the rear wheel steering. And when you drive along, well, it's just a pure joy. The steering sensation in this one is just on point. These gear selectors that sit behind the wheel up here, they are just great. You become so effective, so quick, and it's so comfortable not reaching from the steering wheel to the gear selector down here. There is something about that. I mean, it's ridiculous thinking that, oh, that is a bit of an effort doing that. But there is something about this. They've just, aligned it so perfect. Well, you adjust it so gracefully. And gracefully, that's what this new Mercedes E-Class stands for. It is graceful. this ride is just so relaxed. We got the air suspension, we got the rear wheel steering, and this 25.4 kilowatt hour strong battery, well, it gets you a range of a little over 100 kilometers combined VLTP. And I believe that, well, sometimes you need to drive very careful, or it's the combined driving in town, on some country roads, and maybe on some highway. And if you want to reach even further, and if you want to see it as a little match, as we always tend to say, well, then you can turn off the climate control or the air conditioning, and you get some more kilometers to go. When on the move, when driving, it is just superb. This ride is so comfortable, and when talking about a comfortable ride, you talk about the seats. They could have been a bit more plush, a little better stuffed. They are a bit hard, even though they are just great. You sit in a very good position, and you can set them in so many ways. Even though you need to get the touch, these buttons here in pure electric. Well, of course, it's quiet. This cabin is quiet, and this is what the E-Class stands for. But something with the cruise control that is rather new in this one is that it has an automatic overtaking function. So you just drive and it indicates on itself, and then it passes a slower moving car in front of you. So Mercedes has always been very high tech when it comes to these type of systems. But just driving like this, taking it easy, commuting, using all this electricity from your work or back home or wherever you want to go, it's just a treat. This is where this car shines. And this air suspension together with the rear wheel steering, well, that is just splendid. It works so well. Of course, in the beginning, it turns in very quickly, but after a while, that just becomes a part of the luxury that you want, because the whole car moves so effectively, and the steering inputs and everything is just brilliant. I love it. It feels very sporty, but it feels very composed, and it doesn't get out of line. It is just like a train. It has a long wheelbase, it is stretched, it got plenty of room inside, and I think it's more compact, but it looks a lot like the S-Class, but at the same time, the rear looks a bit different and a lot better with that chrome list, and also the front. It's good that they didn't replicate a lot of the S-Class, but in some angles you can see that it got some resemblance from the S-Class, which is not bad, but it's got a new face. I like the grille, it sticks out a bit. You can get different grills depending on what type of trim level you got. We got the AMG trim level on this one. And the headlights, I think they just look good. They look different from the S-Class. So the E-Class is now a E-Class, and it doesn't melt together too much with the other models. So this one I really like. And if you look at it in profile, it's just spot on. You got this blacked out look. There's no chrome list on the window frames. It's black. Looks okay. I would like to have the chrome list because that looks a little better. 20-inch black glossy rims. These looks really good. And this chrome list that frames them in makes them look just beautiful. The powertrain in this one, it works really well. You can drive purely on the electric motor, of course, and you got 129 horsepower, so it's fairly quick. 0 to 100 on pure electric, well, that is done in about 14 seconds. And it also gives you a little resistance when you try to push it hard so it doesn't kick over to the fossil engine. So it's strong in city traffic and when getting out on the highway or on the country roads. But when they're mixed together and you get these 381 horsepower, then you get 650 Newton meters, then it does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.3 seconds, and the top speed is 250. So classic top speed Mercedes, BMW, Audi. I think it's restricted there, you know, it's fast enough, this one. And when they play together, that 650 Newton meters feels like a strong 6-cylinder engine, actually. But when it interrupts, well, it doesn't feel that muscular. That 4-cylinder engine, 2-liter, it doesn't provide you with any thrills. You know, a 6-cylinder or a V8 engine or something like that and a plug-in hybrid, that is just on a different scale. But you don't need that, because a battery pack that is rather heavy, well, complemented with a small engine that is finely tuned. The turn-in on this one just makes it beautiful, makes it perfect, makes it super sporty, together with the rear wheel steering. It is just there. So you can throw this around a bit, even though it doesn't really want to be sporty, it want to cruise, it want to take you for a very comfortable ride, and it sure does. This air suspension, it is just so subtle. It takes all these different dents and holes in the road and uneven surfaces in such a great way. There are not that many cars that are this quiet and soft and relaxed to drive. And it's got the 4MATIC 4-wheel drive system, so you got real good permanent grip when you really need it to, but you can't swing this around in any way. You can't drift it or something like that. It isn't that powerful, but it's planted, and that makes for a composed ride. Big luxury sedan that weighs a little when it becomes a plug-in hybrid with that big battery, but not that bad, 2,200 kilos. So it's good that you don't have a bigger engine. I mean, putting in a 6-cylinder engine or something like that, 2,400, 2,500 kilos maybe, and that would become too much. You can feel that this has some nippiness about it, and it is rather light on its foot. So this is a car that you buy if you want to have more of a first-class experience in. Because it is. This is almost as good, or maybe better than the S-Class. And on this 4MATIC version, the turning circle is reduced from 12 to 11.1 meters. So it's very impressive when turning it around. You can almost turn this almost 5-meter long limousine around on a 2-lane road. The boot space is 370 liters due to that it is a plug-in hybrid in the sedan version. The non-plug-in hybrids, they have a little over 500 liters. So that's a rather big difference. You would need the station wagon if that is your priority and having a plug-in hybrid at the same time. ESP, turn that off. And manual shifting, so easy. I like this menu here. Big symbols of showing what do you want to choose. So this combined power in this car, well, 381 horsepower. Now that is plenty enough. 400 Newton meters, 400 Newton meters each on the electric motor and the fossil engine. Well, I think it combines it and becomes like 650 Newton meters. But 0 to 100 kilometers an hour is dealt with in 5.3 seconds. It's got some go about it. There is a little roary tone to this 4-cylinder engine, but it's just so stable when on the move like this. Rear wheel steering, and the steering in itself is just spot on. And that feeling when going fast in this one is just so calm. Oh, it has such a mature and grown-up tone about its driving characteristics, and that's what I love about sedans and big sedans with long wheelbases. And this is one that is really, really well set up. You know, it's not a racer and you won't be using it as a racer, but if you want to push it a little, well, this gearbox is quick enough and it is just planted. Well, let's see about the brakes, 2,200 kilos. Seatbelt really straps you in. So yeah, all the systems, they prepare you for something. It is a bit new in here. You get this super screen, as it's called. Oh yeah, that's also a thing. As soon as you start talking, she listens to everything and she wants to interact in some way. So it's not very good when you're doing sort of a review. But this super screen, well, it's divided into 2 screens here. Big one that flows together, but it's a separate one here. There's also a bigger screen that melts all together, which you can find in the EQS models, but this one is good. And now it's so quick. And what I really appreciate, if we step into this menu system here, is how big these symbols are. It almost feels like it's made for someone that hasn't got too good of a vision, but I like it. When you drive along and you need to really push the right one, well, then it's here. This is fully packed with so much technology and stuff. It also got a camera here, so you can do Zoom meetings, but you need to be stationary. And you can also record yourself. You can look at YouTube. This one here, well, it's for your passenger. Can sit and look at YouTube, browse, or do something on the apps and see the consumption and the speed and all of this. And see the navigation and a lot more. So very technically advanced everything in here. You can step into apps, and then you got Spotify. Yeah, you got Tidal. You need to log in there. You can shuffle pack. What is this? This is some type of game, I guess. Shuffle pack. And Sudoku. You can play Sudoku if you want. If you're sitting charging or something. So this is very good if you just want to kill some time. But you really don't need to kill some time because it charges up quickly with that 50 or 55 or 56 kilowatt speed. You get into comfort. This is as it's been before. You got relaxation, massage, energizing, hybrid. Here you can set how much you want it to charge. You can see the energy flow when you drive along. And you can also do a quick charge. You can do a normal charge at a DC station. And it needs to be a bit preheated to get that maximum effect. But when you set it into the navigation of where that charging station is, well, it will preheat it and it will be ready for full charge. But the graphics here, just beautiful. I also like the lines up here, how this just frames it all in a very beautiful way. Also this little list that goes here, this chrome or silver list. And these ones looks very good. You can adjust them if you want to direct the air, but you can also get into digital vent control. And what happens then? They will set it automatically and they move about. So maybe a bit over-engineered, but I think it looks good and it works. And as usual, you can get into this screen and set it how you want it to look. If you want to have some different layouts with your speedometer, with your rev counter, or if you want the navigation to be portrayed here. You got the paddles here, you can shift gears, and you can also set regen in 3 different steps. This also got this adaptive autopilot system, so when it reads out that there is a slower road that you're about to head on to, well, it slows you down. Change the head-up display, or if you want to turn the ESP off, or if you want to turn on the acoustic warning for different speed limits, active lane assist and all of that, well, you do that so quickly in here. So densely packed with a lot of technicalities, which makes it luxurious. You want all this. People, they expect to have something extra for that money because it's not a cheap car. The starting price for this car is 770,900 Swedish crowns. This specific one with the AMG Line Premium Plus package, Driver Assistant Plus package, Leather package, Night package, Guards 360 package, Tech package, Winter package, Energizing Comfort Plus. You know, there's so many packages added to this car. And then, of course, it becomes a little more expensive. So the total price for this car is 1,223,500 Swedish crowns. And it has this beautiful manufacturer gray color, which I just love, together with these beautiful white seats and some contrasting leather in black and stitching. So it all feels very premium. And what also feels premium is that they've done something with the interior. We know that all around the world, everyone has been talking about there's been some squeaks, but now it is just so firm, everything. From that C63 AMG, the new one that I tested, it was just much better. The CLE Coupe 300, much better there, and this is no exception. Just about the same. It is solid now. Touches on the steering wheel, I like them. You just need to know where to put your fingers and be very distinct about it. That is something that you always learn, as we say, but sometimes you might brush it a little and then just, raises the volume or get into something that you don't want. Panoramic roof, so it opens up here a section and a section at the back. Once again, the seats. Beautiful to look at, beautiful color, nice stitching, nice holes, ventilated, heated, memories and all of this. Still there is some resistance to these, the buttons of changing it. The seats are very good. They are shaped in a perfect way. but I think that they could have been a little better stuffed, a little softer. So they feel a bit more on some sporty side, and they are a little more firm. Air freshener in here. My son, he was wondering, why does this car smell so good? So, you know, that is part of luxury as well, having this air freshener in here. So you put that in there. Maybe you could change it to some other scents, but that is good. Burmeister system, great sound system, 40 surround system, and so much more.
Excuse me, your phone is still in the car.
And that is very good when you step out and you have your phone in here, because that is good that it's put away so you don't look at it that much when you drive. So when you turn it off and you eventually forget it, well, when you open the door, she tells you that, excuse me, you forgot your phone. That is good. And back seat. Well, this is a place that is important in a big luxury sedan. Yeah. Okay, I'm sitting behind myself. I have rather big boots now, so I can't really put them in, but the thing is that they got these carpets, these plastic carpets that are rather high. You can get softer carpets, and then I think because there is a little edge there that restricts me from putting my feet under there. But it's carved out here, and the seats themselves are good. As I said, a bit on the firm side, but I think this one is a little softer in the back. They look just so beautiful. They look like a shelf or something. And of course, you have this one here, and you got two cup holders that you can fold out. Nice. Heated seats back here, but it's not like in an S-Class. There is a lot more space in that one. Tilted rather upwards, so you get some support here, and a digital climate control menu here. The whole panel moves as you push it, but it's responsive and it gives feedback, and it works really good. It's just a first-class lounge experience in some way. The environment in here, well, it doesn't disappoint anyone. And when doing a turnaround wherever, well, the turning circle is just good. And that rear wheel steering helps you along the way there as well, of course. You know, it's not like driving a crossover or SUV or something like that. This is planted, this is low, and that's the way it should be. You're more secured in a car like this because it doesn't get upset when driving it fast. The body control and everything in a car like this is so much better. And that's why I love these cars. These are classic in some ways. A sedan is a classic one, a coupe is a classic one, you know, period. Then you can talk about the weight. Well, of course, with a big battery like this one, it weighs a little over 2,200 kilos. But for what you use it for, well, commuting and driving carefully and just enjoying this air suspension, this perfect steering, the comfort, all the luxuries, the refinement, which it is in here now. There's not that many squeaks anymore. Well, I just think that Mercedes are there again at the top, delivering a car that just feels splendid. It looks splendid. It looks just beautiful. I like the looks of it from the inside to the exterior, and that does something to you. You just get thrilled, you just get happy, and you feel a little privileged. Because of course it is a car with all this equipment on it, and also driving in here and feeling very refreshed. Well, that is due to that air refreshener that sits in the glove compartment, and having a fresh tone when driving an interior cabin scent. That does more than you might think. And that also keeps you a little refreshed and on your toes every time you embark on a journey. A little beyond 1 million Swedish crowns for a, you know, rather big sedan. That is, of course, a lot of money, but you get a lot of tech for your money, even though some might be a little too much over-engineered. But we move with the times, and of course, manufacturers need to move with the time and deliver what customers might think is fun and exciting. And a big part of that is tech.